Hey yo, welcome to Benchwarmers, a WOSO podcast, episode 47. We are getting up in those numbers, which means we just get younger in the academy ballers, basically. That's where I find them. We've got Julia Galli from Roma, who is not related to Aurora Galli from Everton. I don't believe in any way, which is what I was very confused about because I thought they were. But she's 18 years old. Probably will get a few minutes next season with extra ball for Roma, but we will get to Roma signings in probably part 2 of the podcast, where they went absolutely ham in the last week and a bit, which is rightfully so, what happens with double winners. But Galli is the name, but we are going to move into the WOSO of the week. WOSO is back. We're international ball, not an international break. It is WAFCON. WAFCON is properly here. We are finally at no more postpones, no more CAF nonsense. We had the opening games. We're up to the 1st of August. We're recording this on the 1st of August. So the morning of the start of a few match day 2 games. The last game that was played was Burkina Faso and Tanzania. So we'll go through some quick hits in each group. We're going to start with Group A, which included the hosts, Morocco. We had Algeria, Senegal, and Kenya. Algeria basically smacked Senegal in the opener, despite the fact that they're pretty close in their rankings. It was quite a balanced game. But Chloe Ngazi, the Algerian goalie, had a stellar performance. Balumu, obviously from West Ham, playing really well, with some youngsters performing. I love the way in which this tournament is built out into like certain styles of football. I love the whole like there's like this whole narrative that goes around in like Menso that like, oh, football's not the same. It's all system and structure, and we don't have enough like ping it to the 9, long ball over the top, Route 1 Brexit ball. Watch WAFCON, guys. This is what it's all about. They have a elite striker who probably doesn't play in the country that they're from because they're too good for their respective country. The ball gets pinged over to them and just let them do the magic. It's unbelievable. But I really like this Senegalese midfielder, Asatu Fall. She was really good. She was inverting wide. She was really, really talented. But a few penalties. One penalty, and it was a very, very solid opening goal for Algeria, who ended up taking the points, taking the 3 points in the first game, same as Morocco, who sent a statement to the rest of the competition. Host nation with a packed out stadium against Kenya. Kenya getting slapped 4-0, probably could have been more as well. And this is a Morocco without their best player, without star player Ghislaine Chabak, coming back from injury, but it took 18 minutes for them to absolutely smack through some goals. There were some long balls. There were some beautiful finishes. Their captain, their acting captain, obviously Chabak is captain when she's on the field, but this right back, her name's Hanane El Haj. She already has 4 assists in this tournament in 2 games. Yeah, she got 3 assists in the first game. It counted as 2, but one of them was like a deflected one, like a De Bruyne kind of assist where it gets touched on. But it was definitely her assist. She has 4 in my opinion. But in this game, she ended up with 2 assists, 1 from a corner and 1 from a beautiful ball. The top goal scorer in Morocco's history ended up with a brace in this game, 33-year-old Ibtissam Jraidi, who has been playing for the Morocco women's national team for 17 years. She scored their first World Cup goal in the 2019 World Cup and is their top scorer all time and had a brace, no different. I would have loved Morocco in this tournament the way they were playing if it wasn't for the fact that their coach is Jorge Vida. So seeing him celebrate certain goals, it was just like a bit underwhelming every time they panned the camera to him. Let's just hope Morocco doesn't get treated the same way La Roja did. But ultimately, I mean, they chose to sign him. I don't know what to to say about the Moroccan Federation as a whole. But
I mean, it's just capitalizing on the fact that the image may be tarnished, but the football is still able to be kind of showcased, if you like.
Yes, separate the art from the artist, ultimately.
I don't know. Morocco as an institution harbours a lot of interesting figures, both in the women and the men's games.
Oh, yeah. I mean, let's be honest. When you're going on the field for the men, it's even more disgusting. Yeah. But Morocco's women's side really got off the mark in that first game and were very solid in their second game against Algeria, a very uneventful 1-0, to be honest. But when the stadiums the stadiums are not packed for other games, obviously due to the postponement, the lack of advertising, lack of PR for this entire tournament. But if anyone wants to watch the Morocco games, they're literally filled to the brim. The host nation has absolutely turned up. And when Chabak comes onto the field for her first minutes of the game in her cameo, she got this huge roar. It was like Aitana at the Nou Camp. It was like Sam Kerr at the Accor Stadium. There's only two similarities. Now, Rose Lavelle in Cincinnati, I'd say, is the one I remember pretty big. But Chabak came on. That El Haj gave her the captain's armband, and she took the corner in the 83rd minute that got cleared away to El Haj, who whipped the ball into Msoudi, who scored in the 83rd minute to get their 1-0 win. They're through to the qualifiers. Host nation through, very much host nation vibes and good energy. So obviously the fans behind them will create a sense of camaraderie in that stadium, which will be amazing to see. I mean, that's the kind of vibes I'm expecting Africa to bring into the Women's World Cup as a whole. But if Morocco win their quarterfinal matchups, they'll make it to the Women's World Cup in Brazil, which would be exciting from the sense of like the nation itself and their fan base, which were very impressive across this game. But obviously bringing Jorge Vida into the frame of the Women's World Cup. Imagine if Morocco came up against Spain. Jesus Christ! I think
I don't want to imagine that.
Yeah,
I don't
it
want
would
to
be
imagine
like
that for the players.
it would be absolutely disastrous from that standpoint. But that being said, I think Spain would beat them like 50-0.
Yeah,
like
true.
I think they would absolutely go for like a reparations game, to be honest. Senegal beat Kenya in the other game in Group A. Very, very like some fun moments, some good shambles stuff. There was a 35-yard banger from Shilwatso. She shot it, and Adji, the goalie for Senegal, saved it onto the crossbar, which was amazing. She made some ridiculous saves. Actually, I really felt bad for Kenya in this game. There were 43 shots in this game, split 21-22, by the way, which is an absolute like shootout. And their captain had a shot, hit the left post. Terry, this girl, she's so good at getting in the positions. She hit the left post, the right post, and then Shawatso hit the crossbar. So there were 4 woodwork moments in this game. And this game went to like the 97th minute, but shout out to Adji and Dia, who kept that clean sheet, which was much needed for Senegal after losing to Algeria in that first game. Keeps them alive in the tournament, obviously, now that it's an interesting Group A. It's an exciting third match day 3 that will come through for next podcast that we'll talk about. But we will move into Group B. Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, Tanzania, who have been so entertaining this tournament. I absolutely adore watching them. Burkina Faso and South Africa. Tanzania balled out against South Africa. South Africa 57th ranked, Tanzania 122nd ranked. They smoked them. Vibes in this one were crazy, and to be honest, Bafana very shaky at the back. There was both goals that Tanzania scored were insane. Diana Masewa Lucas literally gets the ball from halfway. She gets given the ball at halfway. She runs through the, like, literally Messi and Busquets, like Champions League semi-final, 2, 3, 4, wonderful vibes. It was a fantastic goal. And then this woke up South Africa, and then eventually they equalised. It was an Olympico attempt that nearly went in, but it got saved, and then the rebound went in from a header. But it was the super sub, Hasnath Umbamba. This girl, I Like, I want her at City. I want her already. I want her at Melbourne City first, and then she can go to Man City. She can be the Holly Mack replacement, I'm telling you now. But this is where the Dub should be looking, by the way.
Yeah,
this
I
is
agree.
where, if you want recruitments, this is where we should be looking, because these are the unsung heroes that are going to be, like, future elites in this game. But she comes on, she takes a free kick where she fully wrong foots the keeper. Like, imagine being a super sub who comes on to take free kicks. That's kind of insane. But she takes the free kick, wrong foots the keeper, but somehow the keeper gets like a fingertip to it and taps it away, which I think is save of the tourney. Shout out to South Africa's keeper. But it was the Route 1 long balls to Opa Clement, who is Tanzania's star player. Literally, like, everything was just long ball, long ball, long ball. Let's see what happens. And she was getting close. She was getting really close. It was like prime Barkley's ball. But this goal that got Tanzania over the line from Umbamba Hasnath, Linus, she absolutely cooks the fullback, destroys her, megs her, runs along the goal line, cuts a little bit to open herself up an angle. You think she's going to go far post, and then she fakes far post and shoots near post, beats the keeper completely to win the game. So yeah, obviously the South African keeper beaten at her near post twice. But this moment from Umbamba Hasnath, 18 years old, what a moment for her. What a moment to win a game for your country as well. And then I love Tanzania went into a full Jose Mourinho 8 at the back, like a line of 8. There's like this screenshot of them. It's like a line of 8 and then 2 strikers at the top of the 18-yard box. I'm like, Bakari Shime is the new Jose Mourinho. I'm so here for it. You can't stop the shine, baby. Whatever you say, you can't stop the shine. But then Ivory Coast showed their worth, obviously. If you're around WOSO enough, you'll know some Ivory Coast ballers that they have, like Kouassi, who plays for Washington Spirit, obviously, and Bayern Munich's Bernadette Armani, who showed her level in midfield. My God, some of the defensive contributions, the plays, the pass to assists, she was fantastic. They smacked Burkina Faso 4-1. I think it was 3-0 within 25 minutes.
Wow.
It was so good. And shout out to this young girl in the Ivory Coast lock. Like, she is my lock for like a young player of the tournament, in my opinion, if they go through far in this tournament. But Nsira Ouedraogo is absolutely spectacular. But I love Burkina Faso's keeper got sent off for taking her out, which was a really bad dogzo. But then Nsira Ouedraogo, the next goalkeeper that came on got packed in by a free kick that she took from 25 yards. So clearly she held an agenda there. An 18-year-old with 1 goal, 1 assist in the opening game of the WAFCON is spectacular football. I mean, they looked so good, Ivory Coast. And then in the second game against South Africa finally turned up. And it was a 2-2, as South Africa would say, a Desmond 2-2. And I had to do that. I just had to do that. But shout out to Grace Ruth Seri, and again Nsira Ouedraogo, who were brilliant, both 18 years old, both running the game. You have other European ballers, NWSL ballers in the team, and these two 18-year-olds are running their best attacks to open the scoring early on. But shout out to South Africa, stayed with it, really worked hard to make sure that it didn't get too bad. Ouedraogo played another assist for the second goal for the 2-0, but then it was probably the goal of the tournament so far from South Africa, Tembi Ngatlana. Oh my God, this is like, anyone who remembers like Alyssa Thompson's goal versus Liverpool, where she like cuts inside and then like hits it. It was like one of her first big goals for Chelsea. Like, it was that kind of vibe to get them back in the game with 20 minutes to go. Some terrible defending late on in this game for South Africa to get back in this game and take control of it. But it was the 98th minute of a 96-minute game, and we had Hilda Hilda Maguire, bang, first time from the header over the top from Ronell Donnelly. It was literally a kick and pray, headed backwards, one of those like flick on headers. And then Hilda Maguire runs in onto it first time, near post, bang, Bafana, 2-2 in the 98th minute. And you know what's I love is that the super subs, the super subs scored set up the goal. The 3 super subs set up, assisted, and scored the goal, right? They go to pick up the ball so that they can run the ball back. But then the other players and the manager all storm the pitch. So they weren't on the same page. Clearly some people were happy with 1 point and some people were happy with 3. But it was a very, very entertaining game. That was this morning, actually, alongside Burkina Faso upsetting Tanzania. But my GOAT, Hasnath, got sent off. She started in this game and she got a red card because she went for it was like a half challenge on the goalie. She stuck her foot out and then she did a bit of a Balogun situation where she like clips the shin of the goalie, which is very depressing because if Tanzania lose to Ivory Coast, which is very, very likely, by the way. That means that is the end for my GOAT, Hasnath. I don't think I may not see Umbamba again in this tournament, which is such a shame because I think she's got so much talent. Opa Clement literally scored. Tanzania got slightly robbed in this game because she scored a great header and Umbamba crossed the ball in for her. And the VAR said that she fouled the defender. She fouled Stephanie Sau. She literally just ducked. They thought she fell over. She just ducked and she when like a really strong striker heads a ball in and then like collects the defender, like very Haaland-esque, right?
Yeah.
Like, when Haaland barges someone over, it's like, that's never going to get VAR called. This got VAR called as a foul and she got a yellow. I was like, this is a disgrace. This is a genuine, like, Drogba disgrace.
At least there's VAR.
Oh, no, there is VAR. WSL
God.
could never, obviously. The CAF is, have I ever said that the CAF is better than the WSL? That's my point. But shout out to Burkina Faso for leading in this game. They were the first goal in this game. And then obviously with 10 players, shout out to Tanzania who got back in this game off a free kick rebound. It was a very good free kick. Even though Hasnath was off the bench, it was a fantastic free kick to get back into the game. Denisa Minja was the free kick that got saved. Debiglu saved it onto the crossbar, and then Aisha Manunka got it in as 10-player Tanzania were 1-1, but then it was the 80th minute where Balkisa Sawadoga and Deborah Guira together combine, seal the lead, the first win in AFCON history for the Lady Stallions as they beat. And if they beat South Africa in the next game, which with how South Africa's defense look in this tournament so far, very possible, they win this game, they're through to the knockouts, which would be generational for Burkina Faso. Then we will move to probably the best group in this tournament. How they ended up all in the same group is insane. This is the group of death. This is more than the group of death. This is like the group of nightmares for a team like Egypt.
I feel group of death.
Yeah. Like this is the equivalent of putting Australia, Japan, and South Korea all in the same group at the Asia Cup. Like imagine having that. But Nigeria, Malawi, Zambia, and Egypt. Shout out to Egypt in this group C. That is the group of death for them. But Zambia smashed. I mean, shellacking, schmonking, alhammering, as we used to call it in the Liga F. 6-0. Yes, I could talk about the game. Yes, I could talk about the rankings, but who cares? Mate, Zambia's team, they are terrifying. Priska Chilufya, baller. Chanda, baller. Kudananji, literally WOSO legend, NWSL legend as well. But it's all the Barbara Banda show. She is ready to win the Golden Boot in this tournament. Sadly, she got chopped up by Amira Muhammad. Not once, but twice. And Amira Muhammad gave away 2 penalties. The other one was a handball, actually, but she should have probably given away 3. But it was, for some reason, Barbara Banda did not take the first penalty. It was Rachel Nachula, 40-year-old, who sent the keeper the wrong way for the
A bit
first
of a
goal.
Wendy Renard situation.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I mean, I guess maybe it was like a Kai Havertz situation of like, okay, she's 40 years old and like this is probably her last WAFCON, get her the first goal of our tournament. But
I like that.
mate, it was 1-0 at halftime. They scored 5 in the second half.
Christ.
It was insane, including Barbara Banda getting not one, not two, not a hat trick, but a double hat trick. A double hat trick. Barbara Banda sends the keeper the wrong way with her first goal, which was a penalty. Then Priska Chalufya whips this perfect ball in. Barbara Banda headed goal. I mean, how many times have we seen that for Orlando Pride? They are. And Orlando are so blessed to have like a presence like her. Yeah. But same for Zambia. Just it's so easy for them. Egypt went into capitulation. The 86th minute they scored another goal. That felt like this was a shambles defensive moment from a Kudananji cross that caused the danger, and it fell to, you guessed it, Barbara Banda, who had a hat trick from her 60th minute goal to 26 minutes. And then she assisted in the 92nd to Pahiri, who hit this really, really nice strike. It was a bit of a Phil Foden Eze moment where Banda just passed it to Pahiri and Pahiri hits this edge of the box banger. It's like, okay, Banda got an assist. It's like, well, she didn't really do much, but shout out to Banda. Take the assist when you can. And then Kudananji and Banda again, 4 goals, 1 assist in a 6-0 win. Absolute battering. I mean, it's not very often we have a player who scores 4 goals in a game. Like, I'm trying to think of players in this last 25-26 season. There's only 2 players I can think of, both Manchester City players, by the way, in Vivian Miedema for the Dutch national side against, I believe, was it South Korea, where she scored 4 or 5? I can't remember who it was, but I do know Bunny Shaw scored 4 against Tottenham because, I mean, she averages probably 3 goals against Tottenham a game, which is very, very fun. But when a player scores 4 goals, or a player gets 4 assists, shout out to Tessa Vullert, it's hard to not get a song from me. It's hard to not get bangers. I mean, her name is literally the easiest name to chime into a song. Shout out to the GOAT designer, absolute legend. But mate, 2016, mate, we are in, May 18, 2016, this song came out. We're in August 1st, 2026. Yeah. So basically a 10-year anniversary. Barbara Banda, who is how old right now? I mean, she's been around WOSO for quite a bit of time now. She is, 26 years old. She's been playing first team football since 2016 as well for the Green Buffaloes, and has been dominating for the Pride for the last 2-3 seasons and dominating for Zambia since 2016. So 10 years of Banda, 10 years of designer. I mean, I had to do it. I had to try. I'll try and do this. We'll see how we go. I wrote this on my break, so we'll see if I can actually get the flow right, and if I remember the song properly, that would be the ideal. This is what work is paying
you for, Ben. This is
100%. But we'll see how we go. The 15 minutes of magic, designer, the Zambian designer, the Zambian killer, Barbara Panda. All right, we ready? In 3, 2, 1, go. Banda. Barbara Banda. I got PR in Orlando. Twisting defenders, my mantra. Heading hard, scoring bangers. How do you stop Barbara Banda? Zambi 6, bangers. 4 goals, 1 assist, Banda. Can't forget Gracie Chanda. Prisky and Kudananji. Zambi 6, bangers. 4 goals, 1 assist, Banda. Another goal, Banda. Fans come for Banda. Banda winning it for Zambi. Pride of Orlando is Madsy. WAFCON GOAT, not a Bambi. Hope you all understand me. I was going to say I got PR in Orlando, but then I was going to say I got Pride in Orlando. But the reality is that her PR, it's her and Marta, right? It is them two. I would say so, yeah. It's it is them two. And then obviously Ovaye now with Ovaye Ball and what she's doing. But yeah, look, I had to, I think hopefully that's the right timing. I mean, it's not too
think it
too
sounded great.
shoddy. Yeah, easy. Yeah, just an easy like 12, 15 bars for Banda, because I mean, if she keeps going, we might have to find another song to do. Any other Banda songs out there? We'll find out.
Bands? Can we do like something to
Maybe
do
I'll
with
do a Barbara
bands?
Streisand. Maybe I'll do a Barbara Streisand song next.
Jesus Christ.
We'll work out the magic. Funny girl. We know, mate. It's my history right there. Shout out to the history of the Barbara. But we are going to move into probably the game you're all waiting for me to talk about: Nigeria versus Malawi, rank 36 versus rank 153. Obviously, 153 is a bit of a sham, right? Like
Yeah,
the
I agree.
FIFA ranking, if there's any FIFA ranking that is absolute nonsense, it's Malawi's ranking, because their international fixtures, the CAF fixtures, don't line up with Europe. So players like Temwa and Tabitha Chawinga can't play in their like international fixtures every time. When we played Malawi and when we played, who was the other one? It wasn't Zambia, it was Kenya.
Yeah.
We played Kenya and Malawi. It was a Chawinga-less Malawi. We were always going to beat them. But Nigeria beat us in the World Cup, and rightfully so. And then Nigeria, 10-time champions of the WAFCON in 12 champs, have won 4 of the last 5, got smoked by the Chawinga sisters. This was a battering, and this was an exercise in how well do you know how to play with your front three, right? Because Nigeria's team, their backline, I would back to take the Chawinga sisters all day. When you have Michelle Alozia, you have Demian, you have Shukarat Oladipo, who's the best defender in Italy, in my opinion. You have Ndozia, who's the best goalie in the WSL. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to stop them. However, it wasn't like Echegini was doing well in the second half, feeding the ball from the defense to the front line. But when you have a front line with Tony Payne, Kanu, and Okoronkwo, the final score, the final touch, the Ajibade was there and she was trying to get on goal, but she was playing deeper. She was playing this deeper role for them. I'm not too sure why. Maybe I think because they think she's got that creative flair. Obviously, Oshwala on the bench, which is crazy, and came on little cameo in this game, but didn't really have the impact she wanted. But this game was all second half. First half, boring as crap, 0-0. Second half, this game has 5 goals in it, split 3-2. But it was the funniest 2 goals that Malawi scored to open this game to get 2-0 up. It was Irene Kumalo on one side and Sabina Tom on the other side, both launching the long balls, right? So the first one was Kumalo's long ball. Temwa Chawinga runs onto this ball perfectly. No one reads her run. She chests it down. It looks like such a bad chest down, but then you realize she's taken it around Ndozia, beats Ndozia to the ball, and then flicks it into an open net. It is just classic Temwa Chawinga. I mean, she's just a genuine freak, as I say every time Leggy does her NWSL watch. It's just nice it's really refreshing to watch her not in a Kansas City top and be like, okay, she is a freak, and I can see it in like a display that isn't just the NWSL. But the opposite goal, this was literally the opposite goal. The substitute right back comes on, Sabina Tom, as a defensive cover because they want to hold off against Nigeria. She whips this long ball out the back. Owale and Demian can't get near it, and Tabitha runs onto it this time. Ndozia's late to the ball. She rolls it under her, 2-0, too good. Chawinga 1, Chawinga 2, Chawinga 2-0. They're smacking them. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is insane. To do this to the reigning champs, to do this to the best team in Africa is generational. But then obviously Nigeria weren't going to go away without a fight. Nkandawaya, there was a handball. Kanu headers this ball into her hand, which is really disappointing. Ajibade scores a penalty from the spot. Keeps Sikelo frozen, the goalie for Malawi. 2-1. Nervous 90s. But it was it was Makandawaya, the girl who did the handball, needed to redeem herself. She plays another Hail Mary, long ball, magic, Barclays. Like literally Sean Dyche was managing Malawi. I swear to God, it was like Ancelotti mixed with Dyche, mixed with Jose. I love this kind of football. It's just so fun. Temwa runs onto it. Ndosia doesn't know whether to go forward or backward or commit. And Temwa Chawinga with her weak foot, with her right foot, chips Ndosia. Like it's nothing to go 3-1 up in the 95th minute. Temwa, Chawinga. I mean, the two of them, Temwa and Tabitha. I was going, but between the game, I was like, who's playing better? Who's actually better? I'm like, 1 minute it's Temwa, next minute it's Tabitha. Obviously, Tabitha is the captain, but Temwa has the brace, 3-1 in the 95th. Ndosia does a Hail Mary that isn't dealt with very well, and Kanu is the first to react, who feeds it below Sikelo, makes it 3-2, but it's too little, too late for the reigning champs as the biggest upset of the tourney completes itself. Literally, Chawinga, Temwa Tabitha. Like they are just seriously like unbelievable. Like they are they are what the US women's national team think Giselle and Alyssa Thompson are.
Yeah, we're talking about this.
100%.
We're talking about duos and sisters, and like really who are the two best sibling, like who's the best sibling duo in the world right now?
In WOSO.
I think it's like inarguably the Chawinga sisters, and I think it has been for a while. I just think.
Or would you say they're the best sisters in the sport ever?
I don't know about the sport ever, but I think if we're talking about, like, I'm thinking about like the Muir sisters, obviously the Thompson sisters.
They've probably achieved more. I'd say the Muir sisters.
I think the Muir sisters, and I think what a problem with sister duos is there's always a better sister. And I think with Tabitha and Temwa, we're seeing like quality from both of them at such a high level.
I can't choose which one's better.
Exactly.
It's insane how good. Like obviously they're different kinds, different structures of footballer in the sense of like, I think Temwa would be better in a worse team, but I think Tabitha is better in a better team. That's what I think. I think not to say that Tabitha's a luxury player by any means. You're playing for Malawi. You're playing with players who are not your level necessarily by that extension, but obviously don't have the same opportunities that you have because you are playing for the greatest team in Europe from an extension of like historical standpoints. But shout out to the Chawinga sisters for pulling off an absolute blinder. I'm so excited for tomorrow when they play Zambia. Also, I forgot to mention, post Zambia winning 6-0, the vibes post game, the things they were doing in the post match presser, the singing, the chanting, all the celebrations for all the goals. I cannot believe how good they are. How much football just, it's like it's purest football. Like it's like that's what it's supposed to be. That's like, I don't care if you're 4-1 down and you score a goal and you do the biggest celebration because it's what the moment is for you. For the WAFCON, like these players dream of playing in the WAFCON, playing at the top, the highest level, organised footballing competition like this, to an extent of like the official, like on the map. You end up in folklore, you end up in history. Like if you're the first ever left back who won a game for Burkina Faso, like it's important to every country's WOSO history. And if no one is recognizing the importance of a player who scores a consolation in these games, like you have to recognize that there's a difference between clubs and like nations with backing that have expectations to win or make a semi-final or do anything. Like there is a difference between the US winning a CONCACAF Gold Cup whatever it is, a She Believes Cup, and a team winning the WAFCON. There is a difference between a team winning the Arnold Clark Cup and the Asia Cup. It's why the Asia Cup, why you saw Tilly's players absolutely visibly distraught post-match, because they know what it means to them, because they grow up wanting to win this trophy just as much as they grow up wanting to play in a World Cup, score in a World Cup, win a game in the World Cup, be a part of winning sides. And it's generational stuff that is happening right now that's only going to get more prominent and better for everyone. But we're going to go into Group D, Ghana, Cape Verde, Mali, and Cameroon. Shout out to Ghana, who smoked Cape Verde. Sadly, this is not the Cape Verde of the Menso side. They were pretty shambolic at the back, unlike their Menso counterparts. But Ghana, really solid. Some good players that you may know, Leggy, as well. Shout out to Bonsu, Josephine Bonsu, who's just gone from Carl Zeiss to BSE. Young boys, I mentioned her a few times. She's a fullback who can play both sides. She's pretty much like, I would say she's one of the most two-footed players, was one of the most two-footed players in the Bunds. I wanted her for City as a backup left back. I mean, we got Neve Charles, but it's okay. Why not both? Por qué las dos? But yeah, very good play alongside Princess Marfo, who their right side. I loved watching the Black Stars right side. But like their Menso counterparts, really miserly at the back. A 2-0 win, very, very safe group stage victory. And then Cameroon and Mali, a really balanced game. A few players you will know, Monique Ngok, who was at Fleury, scored one of the goals of the season in the Arkema, now joining Washington Spirit. And then maybe Leggy's favourite forward in the NWSL herself, Asata Traore, Boston Legacy's star goal scorer. Yes, she's got more goals than Amanda. She did end up scoring in this game for Mali as well, but Cameroon were too strong for Mali. And shout out to Galatasaray striker Marie Giselle Ngamanga, who scored a brace. She is an absolute demon. The goals she was getting were like Bunny Shaw-esque, like control, power, precision. Ngok played a perfect ball to her. She chests it down, calmly finishes between two players. Like two players are trying to sandwich her. She finishes through the keeper low, calm, collected celebration, does her good vibes. She just moved to Fenerbahce in a record deal in Turkey. She has 27 goals last season in her last 25 games. She has 126 goals in her career in 84 games at 23 years old. Melbourne City, Matriciani, where are we? What are we doing? Why are we not watching this game? Why are we not signing her already with the Holly Mac money? I'm all for Chinaza Uchendu, and she's a good player, but look at this stuff. Like she's gonna be one of the top goal scorers. Yeah, and mate, and even if you're Michelle Kang, her name is Manga. Like Manga Kanga collab is right there if you want her. But shout out to Ngar. The second goal is also spectacular as well. Just comfortable. Like it's just so easy for her to get those cheeky finishes. I loved watching her play. I need to watch more of her, to be honest. But Corentau, the goalie, took her out, which forced the penalty. That's why. So Myong played this beautiful ball, and Manga gets the penalty, scores the penalty. The keeper dives the right way, but it's too far in the side netting. That's just, I mean, when you have that, they're my favorite penalties actually. Not when they send them the wrong way, but when they dive the right way and still can't get it. But Asata Traore, an 82nd minute consolation penalty also. But it was not to be for Asata Traore and Mali, who are now behind. But, I mean, that is basically where we're up to in the tournament. Tomorrow we've got some absolute pearlers, some blinding games in the WAFCON, because we are at the group of death again. We're at Group C. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Nigeria is playing Zambia, which is a massive game. Barbara Banda versus the 10-time champions, literally Kudananji. It's probably the best defense versus the best attack, or equal best attack if you prefer Malawi's attack, which, I mean, Malawi versus Egypt, I'm genuinely expecting like 7-8-0 Chawinga hat double, like both of them getting hat tricks and setting each other up. Like they're going to be on demon time. They're going to try and get to the top of the goal scoring podiums for the WAFCON, try and catch Barbara Banda, who is currently on 4 goals, but and El Haj, who's obviously on 3 but should be on 4. But is there anything you want to add, Leggy? Obviously, you've been watching bits and bobs of this, but obviously you are the NWSL merchant and I am an international merchant. So we picked our games and moments for this week. But if there's any hot takes, vibes, predictions, things I haven't mentioned so far in the WAFCON rounder.
I guess what I have seen from this WAFCON start is that it is becoming a far more interesting competition just in terms of the level of competitiveness, and just
Mm.
in terms of take away like the 10 times, Nigeria, like, having as many stars on your badge as you like. I saw some discourse about that online. I think that every competition is unique. And I think that with this particular competition, we're seeing, if you're a casual watcher of women's football and you've tuned into the
Mm.
WAFCON, you're seeing names like South Africa and Nigeria, who you would have seen in the World Cup, underperforming. And I think that that's really interesting. It also brings to light the names like the Barbara Banders, like the Chawinga sisters, and how we recognize that some of the best players in the world, by chance of basically their birth, are playing for teams that don't necessarily cater to just how great they are. But I think that what we've seen as well is some discourse around stadiums and some discourse around the attendance, and I found that to be quite disconcerting, especially from the ESPN of it all. We saw some tweets coming out earlier this week about the quote unquote lack of attendance in these big games. I think you quite put it quite eloquently in terms of talking about how Morocco are obviously leading in terms of the amount of people going to games. That is common. If we go to any international tournament, the host nation will always have more people going to their games. But I think the context of that tweet missed a lot of what is going on behind the scenes with CAF and what has been going on with women's football in Africa, and how women's football players in Africa, especially those with more cultural power, if you like, talking about the inaccessibility, the lack of access to fans, and how the PR and really the advertisement around this tournament has been lacking. But I think if we take into the fact that the actual football being played is quality, people are turning up, then you're going to get a good and even better tournament than expected 3 months ago, when we didn't even know if this tournament was going to start in the first
Happen.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. It's more like, again, when I'm excited to watch these games, like I'm not even like looking in the crowd. I'm not even doing that kind of thing. Like I just don't think it's worth doing. I think it ruins the sanctity of what's going on the pitch to be discussing that. But obviously, it's a conversation for another time. It's a conversation for every other time when they're not playing football. You
It's
know
just
what I mean?
engagement bait, and it's
just
upsetting.
it's embarrassing that this is the case, right? And like I'm watching Seri play, I'm watching Grace play, I'm watching Wedrago, I'm watching the best of the Ivory Coast on offer, and I'm seeing no one in the stadium, and that's fine. And then obviously they go to the corner and there are fans there, and there are people who know that it's going on, the ultras of respective fanaticos of their respective nations. But it's an institutional failure on behalf of the CAF, because the fans exist. We saw those fans in America for those 9 out of 10 African teams that qualified for the round of 32. We know what Cape Verde can bring to a tournament. We know what Ivory Coast, we know what Congo can bring to said tournaments. Obviously, Congo not in the WAFCON this year, but my point is that all these teams can bring the vibes. It's an institutional failure. It's not about the fans. They're saying that there's no fans of respective games. They exist. They 100% do not care who's in front. And in fact, in some aspects, the respective WOSO counterpart of that team are better than their Menso counterpart of respective team. Yes, it's hard for Morocco to compete with a top 10 nation. Yes, it's different for certain teams. Obviously, Egypt are probably a very massive WOSO gradient between their men and their women. But teams like Ivory Coast, teams like Tanzania who are pulling up to tournaments. But also, it doesn't matter where you're ranked, because also we've discussed FIFA rankings as sus. But look at Cape Verde, who are the lowest ranked or second lowest ranked team at the Menso World Cup, who delivered on the big stage. So there's no reason why this tournament has ramifications for who will be the 4 African nations at the World Cup based on who makes those semifinals. And right now, in my opinion, it's going to be very, very difficult to see who the 4th team is, because there's one of the teams in Group C has to go, and one of those teams probably deserves to be in the World Cup, because all 3 of them have absolute star players. But let's say Malawi doesn't make it. That's really sad because the Chewinga sisters deserve to be there. If Zambia don't make it, Barbara Banda is not at the World Cup. If Nigeria don't make it, which would be an apocalypse for their WOSO team, I think I'm pretty certain that Nigeria will turn up in this tournament in the next 2 match days, specifically tomorrow morning. But if they don't make it, it's an institutional failure for 10-time African champions. But right now, it's looking like Ivory Coast look top tier. I think Morocco already through, and they're going to be hard to beat in their own host tournament. So I'm thinking Morocco and Ivory Coast would be really, really amazing vibes, specifically at the World Cup in 2027. But also, I mean, it's hard to look past the top 2 in the group. Whoever is top 2 in that Group C will be very, very tough to beat. Right now, it's looking like Zambia and Malawi, but who knows, after match day 2, we will see what happens when Zambia plays Nigeria. It could go all completely the other way, and Malawi takes, as soon as Malawi win, they're through to the knockout. So then it puts Zambia on the back foot. It's all eyes on that Zambia Nigeria game. Are you going to say Banda for top goal scorer, or would you
I would say Banda
otherwise?
for top goal scorer. I also think, like, if we're talking about like a dark horse, I think if we
Yeah.
take away the South Africa and the Nigeria of it all, I love what the Algeria is doing. I like what Burkina Faso is doing. Do they go through? I don't know, but the actual football, they're getting results. Like I like these teams.
Burkina Faso are in a very good position
Yeah.
to go through because Tanzania plays Ivory Coast in their last matchup, which will be, and Tanzania without Hasnath, their big young star who's been breaking out this tournament really, really well. Ghana started well, but who knows if they can keep that up. But I think they are fortunate enough that I mean, Cameroon and Ghana will be a very good matchup in 2 days' time, because that will show who is the best in that respective group. But Morocco are looking fast stead at Brazil, I think, which is, I mean, good for the players, good for the fans, very disappointing for the institution and what it will mean. I mean,
becoming qualifies. I hate that. It's a completely different thing.
Oh,
It
you
should be
think it should be different?
Oh,
I
yeah,
actually like it. It incentivizes them to play well in respective
But
tournaments.
there's an incentive to play well in a tournament anyway. You're in a tournament. But
No. Incentive to play well in the tournament, fantastic. But it just puts more jeopardy on said games. Whereas qualifiers, I feel like, aren't taken seriously enough, and they don't care enough.
they have
And
single
we see that
motive.
with the
I-
Matildas when we pull out ridiculous squads and we don't put out the best of the best because we can't, because our best of the best aren't even there sometimes.
No, but qualifiers fit within FIFA scheduled windows, so they're going to come anyway. It's we just have the misfortune from the Asian perspective that we don't play strong enough teams. But the single focus of qualifying via the qualification window is far better than qualifying through a tournament, because imagine the Euros in the women's game was a direction to being qualified. The Netherlands would not be qualified for the World Cup if that were the case.
Yeah, rightfully so. They've been average.
Sure, but then
but every jurisdiction, every federation has the right to choose the way they want to do it. If you like, we watched the Nations League last year, the way that some of the teams were taking the piss in the Nations League, which ultimately qualifies you in some ways for better groups, better pots, so that you do qualify. For example, Denmark, who took the Nations League very seriously, played really well, were rewarded with a semi-fortunate group that they smoked and are now in Brazil, right? Like, Denmark are not necessarily a top 10 WOSO side by my stretch of the imagination, but they're playing like a top 10 side because they earned it from their Nations League performances.
But they wouldn't have gotten
post World
through
Cup.
if it was to do with the Euros, because they got knocked out of their group stage, and that's why I'm saying
100%. But that's what I mean. Is like, it is the dichotomy. I think there needs to be a healthy dichotomy. I think there is a lot more pedigree and there's a lot more history that is built into the Euros in a way that's conducive for the players, the federations, the countries to take those tournaments seriously. I feel like WAFCON, I like the fact that it works for WAFCON. The idea that it works for the AFC, maybe not. There's an argument to say that. I think you're right. Like, if imagine we lost to North Korea in that quarterfinal, like, we wouldn't be qualified for the World Cup, and then that's it, right? But it does simplify the process and makes the Asia Cup a tournament worth like it should it makes the for the average like fan who's on the edge of, oh, I don't know if I'll watch much of the Tillies in the Asia Cup. You want to watch the game where they get qualified. You want to watch that game more than, I don't know, watching them play Taipei in a qualifier, watching the Socceroos play, I don't know, Oman.
But sometimes we don't make it, and then we get these
game.
incredible, like, geographically misaligned games, like when Australia had to play a South American team, and Troisi scores the winning penalty to get us to
when there's World Cup playoff games and all that stuff, and like that's what's happening now with the European games, like for a team like Ireland who have to jump through hoops and bounds, Scotland as well, if they're going to potentially make Brazil 2027. But I think that there is a lot riding on those games, but they're one-off games. I kind of like when it's sometimes it works for certain federations. Obviously, I wouldn't want it in Europe. I agree with that. I wouldn't want it in North America, to be honest. I feel like they have enough tournaments and they have enough trophies that they don't need to do their own thing that's aside from qualifiers. Maybe for South America it could work. AFC, it does work, but I don't think it matters that much. But for the WAFCON, I like it. I think it does sit well. Maybe it is a disincentivization of the CAF to make more fixtures during the season that create more validity to ride on and more like I guess attraction, obviously, if you have it separate to the tournament, and then just winning the WAFCON becomes its own like institutional like motivation of just like tournament hunting, rather than, I don't know, Morocco, who may not necessarily be tournament hunting. They are tournament hunting, but in the process, if you get to the World Cup, that's the big goal ultimately for a lot of these teams, not necessarily to win said WAFCON. But that is all we have for the WAFCON so far. Keep the vibes up. It's been so good. But we are going to move to a different federation. We're going to move to a different league. We're going to go to the Northwest, the center of the universe, depending on if you ask an American WOSO fan, basically. But we are here for LEGGY'S NWSL Watch.
Yeah, it took me by surprise that it's halfway through the NWSL season. This is the problem with not having match days and rather just going off of the calendar. One Wednesday, we're going to play a football match. But I don't know if I necessarily predicted everything correctly in terms of kind of the first half of the season, especially Utah's form, because they're sitting third, and I didn't even think that they would make the top 8. But that top 8 does look familiar if you've been following the competition for the last couple of years. Washington.
I mean, there's certain teams that are in the absolute correct spots on the table based on where they should be, and then there are some teams who are playing fast and loose with their own identity.
I think,
namely Washington Spirit at the top of the table is very disappointing for Washington Spirit, who love to sit in second. Gotham way too high, but also I think they've signed too many good players to not be that high on the table. San Diego Wave are doing exactly what they're supposed to be in the top 4, cemented right there. Orlando Pride, perfect tick, check plus in 8th. That's where we want to be when Banda comes back. Marta Ovalle, 90 minutes in the playoffs. That's what we want to see. Courage, I'm impressed. Courage, you're not in 9th. Congratulations. This is insane. And then Angel City sitting basically where like if Courage or Angel City don't finish 9th, then the NWSL has gone absolutely outside of its own identity and its brand, because there are teams that the other teams are exactly where they should be. Everyone from 10 and below is 100% correct in my opinion.
I would swap. I would put Angel City higher, only because they started quite well, lost a couple of players, and thus had to slip down. Of course, we take the monetary factor out of it, because at this point, it doesn't matter if you're the richest club in the world.
I've never taken it out of their identity once. Angel City, Angel of Death, mate. They've got a death note on their financial institution, but I do think that they have games in hand, so they should be in the top 8. They should be in the playoffs by the end of their catch-up games, because obviously Orlando Pride have played a few more than them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a 15. That's dub
W
level
League,
stuff right
yeah.
here, if I'm honest. But yes, kick us off, Leggy. Who's the highlight game for this week?
Yeah, the highlight game definitely was Portland versus Gotham. This is very much a leggy pilled game. I love both teams
Your two
historically.
favorites.
They are
Yeah.
my two favorites. If I can say two favorites, they are my two favorites.
Yeah,
This
it's like when Leggy watches Arsenal and City.
that's that's
No,
not
it's
true.
Arsenal and Villa.
No, it's Arsenal and West Ham, of course. Are you
Yeah,
crazy?
no, yeah, next year, then
Yeah.
when Code, 1-0, Laia Kadena, own goal.
And you know that will happen.
She's,
You know that
yeah,
will
no,
happen.
it's gonna be insane. But yes, kick us off.
Yeah,
What was the score in this one?
This one was a 2-all draw. So this game
Mm.
had a lot of highs and a lot of lows for Gotham, who once again came back from behind to gain points, this time over a genuinely serious top four contender. I tuned into this game. I had a lot of football fatigue coming off of the World Cup, but I wanted to watch this game. And I was rewarded 2 minutes in, one of the fastest goals you'll see. Mitch Pearce scored the opener, really well worked. I really enjoyed the fact that Rose Lavelle, for about 15 seconds in their midfield, was kind of just running around in a little circle. Like, I just love that. I
Mm.
just love Rose Lavelle and her kind of ability to roll over the ball a little bit, take her time, goes out wide, some really audacious moves on the left-hand side, crossed into Mitch Pearce, who had a terrible shot. I have to give it wasn't a great shot in my opinion. The goalkeeper made it look better than it was because she dived for some unknown reason. But
Mm.
it definitely broke down this Portland defense, which I don't necessarily rate. I don't rate Portland's defense, and this is how you break them down.
Well,
It's
at the start of the year, they were pretty resolute, but now they're looking a bit shaky,
They
and
look
especially,
shaky.
especially the fullbacks. I thought Reina Reyes was solid. I thought Maria Muller, who was a absolutely sought after player from Freiburg at the time, and has now made the move and has been solid for them over the last 2 seasons. Has looked a bit shaky these last 3 games. I don't know what's happened to Portland ball, but they are very much thorns in their own back, really, because Villaham needs to work on something, because when was the last time they kept a clean sheet at this point?
Well, that's a good point. The only thing I have to say in support of what Portland have been doing is they haven't lost a game at home. So that in
Yeah.
and of itself is fantastic. They have a great home record. It did
Mhm.
take a long time for them to get into this game. I think it was around the 20th minute that Riley Lyles, who a complete unknown to me personally, no offense, girl, but 23 years old, her first professional goal to open the scoring for Portland, and it's a banger from the right hand side. An incredible opening goal, one of the best if you could ask for an opening goal in the NWSL and for your professional career. It's this. And I think,
Mm.
we talked last week about, these younger players really stepping up in the NWSL. And we forget that, like, 18 is young for, say, the WSL, but 23 is equally young for the NWSL. The collegial
Wow.
system.
Get yourself a person who loves a 23-year-old American like Leggy loves
I
Renee
do.
Lyles. I mean, imagine you gave this kind of like luxury to a chiropractor.
No, no. Because in the
How dare
WSL,
you?
being young
Yeah.
is being under 23. In the NWSL, being young is basically 23 years old. You have to go to college.
Being
You have
young
to
in
go.
the NWSL is being under 30.
True.
Like half
True.
the players are over 35, to be honest.
great
But
shout.
yeah, what's it called? Renee Lyles. I assume not related to Noah Lyles in any way.
No,
But
great shout.
pacey winger though, very good finish, and then she ended up setting up the next goal. No,
Yeah, because Jessie Fleming, pod favorite. Jessie Fleming, despite her being ex-Chelsea, she's one of the only Chelsea players I actually liked and endured in
yeah,
my
because
watching of
Chelsea treated her like
They
dogma.
treated her like crap, and she went to Portland because she wanted to spend some time with Christine Sinclair. And you know what? It's worked out because
Rightfully
she's
so.
now arguably maybe their marquee player, in my opinion. She scored a deflected goal outside the box, very like Giuliano Roma style. That means the Thorns were up. They were up in this game around the 50th minute mark, but of course, Gotham, they don't go down easy, and they managed to equalize 62nd minute off a corner. Sam Kerr, her initial header bounced off Portland defender.
Here we go. She's back.
But
She's back.
she got
ladies and
there in
gentlemen.
the end. She got the rebound, struck the ball in the back of the net. I mean, it's very very Sam
and I
Kerr
can
goal.
celebrate these goals. I can actually celebrate these goals. This is what it's all about, being like an actual Sam Kerr fan on her side, like for this time, and like this is my like Sam Kerr redemption era. This is it. I get like it's more than a renaissance. I mean, Renee only wins one trophy, whereas or a plate, but it looks like Gotham are trying to go for the double at this point. Like, when have they ever looked this fresh, firing, like inevitable? That's the word I'm looking
midway
for,
through
I guess.
the season, no. I rarely see this.
Yeah, no.
midway through the
Obviously,
season
they
from
turn up
Gotham.
late on, but like winning the actual playoffs from 8th is its own thing and its own kettle of fish. But they're looking to go for the actual like Kansas City Current, like first. They're going for Washington Spirit. I think they are on their tail, and they're just waiting for them to slip up so that they can pounce on it.
And I hope that you're right, but there are factors going against Gotham. I talked about
Big
the
factors.
high and the lows. So Gotham had a really tough week this week. But nothing will come close to finding out that Sonnet is out for the rest of the season. She got a knee injury in this game. Previous to this game, they found out that Esther Gonzalez, her contract was terminated for personal reasons.
Yes.
She's gone back to Spain. I think for Esther, it's a whole kind of can of worms when talking about the replacing of such a real hegemon in that striker position. They obviously lost another striker as well due to the mid-season transfer window, so they are stuck with Sam Kerr, like it or not. But losing Sonnet, and losing it in a way that is a knee injury, it's devastating as women's football watchers, but like, she's a leader, a veteran, but she's also like easily one of the best defenders in the league. Any team,
Yes.
if they lost Emily Sonnet, would suffer, but Gotham, I know, will struggle because
It's Lucy Bronze going down.
It's Lucy Bronze going down.
It's Leah Williamson going down. It's that's what it is. It's a we cannot replace her situation. No question about it. Like,
And last week I talked about the defense of Gotham being so strong, and and then this happens. It's crazy timing, but
Yes, you
they're really
did
gonna
say
struggle.
like it's. I mean, yeah, they are. No, but I think I did say like there are twists and turns in the tail. I said there's an Emily Sonnet injury away.
Yeah,
from
I know.
everything going down.
We
I did
jinxed
say
it.
that. Sadly, I don't know if I jinxed her, but the reality is that a player of her caliber is not possible to replace, but obviously no one is going to deny said firepower that they have up front. And I mean, look, I think Sam Kerr has a lot to do now. This is it. This is her time. Was amazing in that back half of the season, the 15-game stint for Chelsea and the Matildas, has come into Gotham pretty seamlessly, more than she fit when she came back from her ACL injury into the Chelsea setup, and has been spectacular for them. Presses hard, works hard, made Lavelle better. She's made Guro better. I mean, I'm just waiting for Macario to move over to Gotham at this point, and then they're just going to recreate the Chelsea setup, to be honest. But I think, look, I would still be shocked if Gotham don't finish in the top 2, regardless of the Sonnet of it all, because Esther will be replaced, but they will pick and pack. They will find someone. They'll find someone to do not necessarily the same as Sonnet, because that's not possible, but comparable work where they can cop goals, but obviously find answers to their lesser defense than their counterparts on that side of the table.
And I think if we're talking about, that kind of top 4 battle, San Diego and their up and down form, it only gets
Mate, it's down right now.
It only gets worse for them as they come off the back of a draw. Now they played up against Seattle Reign, a team that I expect San Diego at home to beat, and convincingly beat, especially when you're starting Trinity Byers. I know Jonas is listening to the podcast. I can't even
Why
blame
wouldn't
him.
he? He should be our number 1 fan. Like,
True.
we talk about him a lot, and we
love you,
talk
King.
about him fondly, considering you're an Arsenal fan and I'm a City fan. Like, like Arsenal fans should hate him more than we do, but we love Jonas. Jonas is everything to football. He is the passion we try to emit on this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, that photo of him and Emma Hayes together. Like, that's me and you. That's me and you. I don't know who's who, but it is me and you.
I'll think about who's who. I like the little finger wag that
I
he
think
does.
there are moments when I'm Jonas, and there are moments where you are 100% Jonas, and it is fantastic. I mean, that's the energy we try to channel. The unbov, but actually just like the most expressive person on the field of play. Like I would love to see him play football, to be honest. I think
No,
he would
I
be
wouldn't.
hilarious. Five-a-side Jonas would be generational.
But no, so San Diego, look, I have to commend Seattle Rain because, as I said earlier, going to San Diego, it's tough, but they did a job. I mean, I have to commend McCammon, who's delivered a lofted ball into the penalty area, found Maddie Masato. Masato's had a crazy first half of this season. Her header went into the back of the net for her third goal in as many
Wow.
matches. I mean, I don't know what's happened. I talked last week about like this mid-season break and kind of revitalizing players. I think Masato is one of those players who's very much been revitalized. Then the rain doubled just like 3 minutes later, I think, which was
Two in 20 minutes.
two in
Jesus
20
Christ.
minutes. McCamey again with the service and then a headed toward goal before the 19-year-old Jordan Bugg, someone who in watching these games, I don't necessarily talk about her a lot on the pod, but in watching these games, I think she's a bit of an up and down player. And I think when she's on, and when she's not on, she's not on. Last week she wasn't on.
The
This
US
week she
women's
was.
national team is full of players like that, in my
agree.
opinion.
I
I
agree.
think when Germa is on, she's a spectacular defender, and when she's not, she's gettable and beatable, and you can knock her off the ball. I mean, McCammon is how old? 18, 19 years
Yeah.
old as well. So, like, you have a situation where Rain has all these young guns that are going to ball in, but surely it's all eyes on the goalie. I'm surprised you haven't mentioned her. Jesus Christ.
I was gonna get to Sandra Panos. I was gonna get to the Sandra Panos of it all because we love Sandra Panos on the pod. We do because she is ex Barca, because she is ex
One of the best
Club
goalies I've
America.
ever seen.
And she did not do a very good job in comparison to Claudia Dickey, who recorded
Yeah,
8
that's
saves.
who I thought you were going to talk about.
Well,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
I
What
mean,
a game.
outshooting. I mean, SD Wave outshot Seattle 22-9 in this game. There was a reason why one keeper was arguably player of the match, and the other keeper, in conceding 2 of the 9, it was not. And I think Sandra Panos, she's coming into the NWSL. It is tough. And I just don't think in this particular game, coming off the fact that, like, previously, Seattle have had a pretty okay run with keepers. I wouldn't say, San Diego have had a pretty good run with keepers. I wouldn't say that they needed to be replaced. Sandra Panos comes in. I particularly think that second goal, I don't think was a good positioning by Sandra Panos. I think she did poor on that goal. But I mean, there was more than just a Sandra Panos of it all. They didn't have Kenza Dali. In midfield, they looked completely bankrupt. And I think that if we're talking about Seattle, they have these moments. I don't think you read into it because I think that they have these big games against these big sides. They come away with a win and then they'll lose the next 3 games because that's Seattle this season. So if they can kind of capitalize off of the Jordan Bug, off of these balls into the box, which they do, it's just that they don't do them often enough, and they try to play a football that isn't kind of the football that they can play and that will get them results. If they can stick to the football that they're good at, I think that they can have a good run in the second half of this season.
I think they're the only team that's like teetering on the edge of contending for playoffs. Like
Them and
I
Angel
don't
City, in my
think Denver Summit or the Dash are like there. They're not
No.
there, like, from a sense of, like, to catch up to Courage, who are 5 points ahead of them. It's a bit of a stretch. But Seattle Reign have the youngsters and the capacity to win games that they're not supposed to, and then make a move for pride, make a move for current, make a move for courage. Obviously, there is a little bit of a gap that's formed between the top 6 and the 7 to 10, which is kind of like your wild cards. Like, I feel like that's coming in the NWSL, where they're going to make it the top 10, and then whoever wins in those playoff games, and then Orlando will finish 8th and Courage will finish 9th, and it will be this amazing box office wild card game for who qualifies and basically wins the NWSL from that tough position, because that's what both of those teams would do. But that would be such an omission to get Courage back into the playoff contentions, because they perennially finish 9th. But I just think obviously legacy, like Bay FC all the way up to Seattle Reign, it's one game in it, right? So they're not far away from falling down into that pack of probably non-contention. But I do think of those teams of Denver, Houston, Boston, Bay, Seattle have the ones to win games that they're not supposed to, which is how you get that qualification for the top 8.
Yeah. And if we're looking at that, top six, as I mentioned earlier, I love when teams play against each other and it's scrappy and disgusting football because it
Mm,
just goes to show that even if you're the top team in the league, there is a big divide between the best of the European game and the best of the American game because Washington Spirit came out with a 1-0 win over Utah in one of the worst games of football I've seen, especially from a top side. Someone like Washington goes to Utah, who equally play incredible football. We've talked about the style of football that they play, but this
mm.
was scrappy, it was tight, it was messy, but it was enough. Rodman got her goal. Was it a good goal? I actually think it was all right. If we're
It was
talking
a good
about,
goal. It was a great
I,
goal. Again,
I,
she's on form. She's smoking everyone at this point. Like, this is the reason why they're not second. She's winning She's not just scoring goals. She's winning matches
I
for
actually don't think
Washington
this was her
Spirit.
goal. Like, of course, the run was great from that left hand side, but it was Paige Mattia, her run from
Oh, it was a
basically
beautiful,
halfway,
yeah,
driving the ball,
100%.
and then a low driven of cross goal, across the face of goal cross.
Mm.
Like Rodman would be an idiot, and I have actually seen her do this to miss that goal. It's just lucky that she was able to slot it in. I think that if they're going to play this style of football, this basically, I think that one of the problems with Washington is getting Rodman on the ball too much. I don't think she's actually amazing on the ball. But if you get her off the ball and if you get her working off the ball and doing those off the ball runs and getting her on the end of shots, that's where you see the best of Trinity Rodman. And at the end of the day, they're getting these results and they're atop the ladder and they're only 2 points, only a 2 point margin, but it is that 14 plus goal difference that is getting them, the kudos, if you like.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hand injury. It's a situation where like it's like she's one of those players that you just think to yourself that she can handle any opposition. She just needs to be more patient.
Yeah,
Like
I
that's
agree.
that's the thing. Like,
I
her
agree.
football speaks for itself. She just doesn't need to speak. No, I'm joking. But it's this thing where, like, obviously you've seen it. We saw it more in Bunny Shaw's game in this stellar season that she's just had. She's just become more patient. She's not forcing the
Mhm.
ball to her. Like, we used to have massive arguments between the two of us talking about how Bunny needs the ball here and not here and not facilitate. Don't just feed her the ball and make her do the dirty work. It's like, the patience comes with the ability to build up. Rodman doesn't really need to be a part of the build up. Can be, but she doesn't need to be. When she wants to 1v1, she can 1v1 and do that. That's fine. But she is so much better, in my opinion, at arriving to the
Mm,
ball on the back post. And
yeah.
like when I think of Rodman's best moments, I think of her arriving in the box late to a ball that's funneled out the back and she
Yeah.
just one touch rifles it into the net, or like massive blinding strikes that are creative, but also give her the time and space to be the improvisational, mercurial footballer that she is. It's like Lauren James. Both of them require immense patience to be able to deliver the crushing blows that they can. And she keeps playing like this. We're looking at, like, I mean, I hate to say it, but we're looking at like a player of the season
Mhm.
esque performance. And yes, it's benefited by the fact that Banda,
Mm.
Chewinga, those players are not in Esther now departing the NWSL, but obviously Banda and Chewinga in the WAFCON, who have a month to go out of the
Mm.
NWSL memories and minds. And then when Chewinga comes back, we can all be reminded why she's the best player in the league. But it's one of those situations where if her body of work and her numbers speak for themselves, the PR will take over. And if they finish first, the best player, the most important player, not necessarily the best, but the most important player in the best team is usually the one that will end up player of the season. And I could very much see Rodman, if she keeps scoring one a game, getting a goal or an assist a game, then she can end up on that list. She can end up in the running to be a player of the season for this season, because she's now topping the charts. She's equal with Barbara Banda
Mm.
on goals and assists combined. Obviously, Banda having 12 goals in less games, and obviously a player like Rodman, who has, I believe, is it 8 goals or 7 goals? I can't remember how many she's got. I think she's got 8 and she's got 5 assists. So, like, she's playing it really, really well. She's played, this is, I would argue, the best she's played since the, like,
Back
pre-injury.
injury.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would say the injury, like the 2024 season, going into that Olympic run, I guess. That was probably the manifestation of that. But I mean, I can't really fault a player who's got 4 player of the match performances in her last 6 games and is driving them up the table beyond the realms of where I thought it was. Even like, I don't know, I would say her shot selection has gotten better. Like she's not taking the dumb, stupid shots.
I think she's taking the dumb, stupid shots. But
no, but
the thing
but
is,
like
is that
the goals she's scoring aren't dumb stupid anymore. Like the last 4 weeks, I would say the goals that she's scoring or the goals that she's
because she hasn't
facilitating.
necessarily created those goals, and that's the good thing. She's not the prime facilitator of her own goals anymore, so she's not having to create something out of nothing. The team around her is supporting her, and that's why I feel very little about criticizing Trinity Rodman, because I criticize her because I know what she can do. She can win a game off her own boot. She can become the MVP of a season. It's just she has all this quality. She's an athlete first. We already know this. There is frustration there ultimately, because I think that she can do better. I think that she can work on her craft better. But that's
Her
just me.
defensive contributions have gotten way better too. Like from last season as well. Like she's running way hard. Like obviously injury ridden last season, but her ability to press hard, like use her pace, do the doggies. Like she shouldn't have to do. There's an argument to say like Rodman is one of those players that everyone does the doggies for her, but it's good to see her providing that presence for her team, leading by example.
My last 2 quick hits, I'm going to put them together because they're both thrashings, and I love a thrashing in the NWSL. The first one is just a quick one. I wanted to talk about KC and Racing Louisville. I don't
Yes,
care
sir.
enough to go into Racing Louisville, but I just want to mention KC getting 5 goals without Chawinga is an incredible achievement. I
Because
loved how
Dabinia
Hopkins...
turns up when Chawinga doesn't play.
Yep, Hopkins turned up, Dabinia turned up.
Yeah.
I just thought that this was an all-round performance, but the game I really wanted to talk about, because it's a player that you love in Evelyn EJ and North Carolina Courage, absolutely thrashing Orlando 5-0. And this is the first time a Swedish player has scored a hat-trick in the NWSL, which to me has been an astounding statistic because the Scandinavian to NWSL pathway has been like well trotted. But 3-goal haul, 8th hat trick in the NC Courage history. No club in the NWSL has more, and that obviously goes and lends to the fact that NC were once a powerhouse in the NWSL. But look, there were some big milestones in this game as well. You know, Lauren Thompson's 4th-minute strike to get the scoring going. She's a native North Carolinian, if you like, and she
I'm not sure about that, but
no. She's the youngest player to score for Courage history in a regular season game. She was assisted by another teenager. There was a teenager to teenager goal contribution. We love to see that. Ashley Sanchez obviously capped off the win with her 10th goal of the season, doubling her previous career high and putting her in second for the Golden Boot race. I say this every week, whether a win or a loss, this is typical of Orlando. They really struggled this week, and some of their best, most reliable players, especially in the backline, were particularly shocking. I don't think that last week's 1-0 win against Chicago really lent them to come up against this North Carolina side. I think that they really got away with it in that game. Marta missed a penalty. Like it was a poor game by Orlando. This game was coming, but the way that they went about, the way that Evelyn EJ carried this team to 3 goals was just incredible in my opinion.
I mean, the first goal was a bit of a shambolic, like Bunny Shaw's 4th goal against Tottenham, where it just bounced off her. But the second goal, the half turn, where she absolutely, I don't know who that defender is, but that's a come on the pod worthy defensive effort right there. She got absolutely smoked, but obviously took her time to get the 3rd goal, right? And I mean, those 2 goals were in like a blitz, right? It was like a 7-minute blitz, but it was the 70th minute, and she got a cheeky rebound. I mean, this is what they do. The North Carolina, they put the pressure on. They just force like dangerous balls, and I mean, she was there to mop up the scraps for 2 of those goals. But yeah, getting her hat trick. I mean, we all knew this was coming. Yes, her start was like you have to take time to adjust to a different league, different style. I knew EJ was there. She scored many a goal for AC Milan, and she's the real deal. But this also puts more pressure on Tony G or whoever will be the next Swedish manager, because let's be real, his tenure won't be a tenure. That's how it works with Tony G. But you have Schroeder, you have EJ, you have
Stina.
Blackstenius, you have so many strikers that you can choose from. The Swedes do build those 9s differently to anyone else. Monica Barr, JRK, try and fit them all in the same team.
Yeah.
I dare you. No, you have to pick the one who's best for your system and the way you play. And if Tony's coming for you with his 4-4-2, I think a player like EJ is a much better finisher and facilitator combined than a player like Schroeder would be in a 4-4-2 system and structure, where she's better in a natural 3 with Monica Barr. Monica Barr is better in a 3 up front than she is on the left mid in a 4-4-2. If he's going to play a 4-3-3, then EJ probably doesn't make the team, despite the fact that she's killing it and getting Courage into a position that they otherwise wouldn't be. Let's be real. Obviously, Ashley Sanchez is playing out of her skin, is definitely, in my opinion, in the top 3 contenders for player of the season this year. But obviously, Rodman is on that tail. I think it's Rodman, Sanchez, Chewinga, and Banda that are all after that crown. And it is, I mean, it's heating up. We're over the hump. We're at halfway. This is when Orlando usually turn up. This is when Spirit usually fall a bit flat. And this is when KC Current usually do the same as well. But we will see. We will see what happens. There are teams we just know what will happen. But I'm excited to see Angel City catch up to their total games and see if they can...
Yeah. Me too.
Manifest greatness with Ali Sentinel. I mean, I do want that vindication for her, and obviously JD since returning on my days. Nothing like that, but so, I don't even know. They lost to Racing Louisville.
Yeah,
What are they?
Exactly,
Yeah, like I
exactly.
don't understand it. How can you lose to Racing Louisville at home? That is
It takes
just an
a special
institutional thing.
performance
I've
to
been to
lose
that
to
BMO
Racing.
Stadium. I would have probably thrown something at the wall if I lost to Racing Louisville and Beverly Yanez's systemic structure there. But I don't know what was happening. I mean, it's a disaster, but then also they can beat the best of the best. So I mean, anything can happen in the NWSL, and that's why we love it so much. But that is all we have for the NWSL Watch this week. Leggy's NWSL Watch this week. And that is all we have for part 1 of the podcast.